The Financial Huddle does not provide tax, legal, financial, or other professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with their own advisors in these areas.
All right, everybody, huddle up.
You good?
Play calls in. This is the Financial Huddle. Ready? Break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, Huddlers. We are here once again with my compadres, Ryan Fleming.
Thanks for huddling up with us, everybody.
Ed B. Miller.
Hello, hello.
Hey, hey.
And we are a few days away from the brand new year. And I have to ask, what is your New Year's resolution this year or coming year?
Oh, man.
2026, going to be a big year.
Big year.
Resolutions, from my standpoint, I did kind of have one last year because, both of my children got married, and I felt like I wanted to get into kind of fighting shape, back to my college shape.
Fighting shape.
I got close to it. I did get close to it.
You are
so
an east side of Cleveland boy.
Yeah, east side. I'm not a west sider. Now, come on.
Is that a weight goal?
Yeah, it was a weight goal, and I got pretty close. But I always go back to muscle weighs more than fat. So I figure I was right about there.
You're saying you have more muscle?
Well, of course.
Okay.
I'm thinking it. All right.
Thinking it.
Fact and reality could be two completely
your
different
thoughts
things.
become things.
Thoughts
man.
become
Thoughts
realities.
become things.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. But I think resolutions, we always want to do better or be better or be a better iteration of ourselves per se. But so I honestly, I haven't even started thinking about what 2026 will bring.
How about you, Ryan? New Year's going to be here in a couple days.
Well,
any resolutions?
My oldest son's going to get off the payroll, and I'm going to try to take those dollars. I'm going to try to take those dollars and save them instead of spending them. I'm tired of spending them.
I think that's a good goal as well.
All right.
The first is just getting him off the payroll.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what we can do with it.
Yep.
So,
that's
well, for all of you out there, we're a few days away. Happy New Year. Glad you are here. Ryan, stats.
Oh, man.
Hit me up.
Let's hear it, man. Stat time.
Stat time.
It's stat time.
In all seriousness, when we talk about New Year's resolution, and we talk about things like money and health, Ed, you talked about health, I talked about money. It's just so important that our listeners know, and I think they know this organically, but money and health are just incredibly tied together. So I thought that we would talk a little bit about, just kind of connect the two, money and health. Some alarming stats to think about when it comes to like money and health. 72% of Americans report that money is like the number one major stressor in their life. Think about that. 72% of Americans say that. A lot of studies out there that talk about chronic stress is the leading cause of heart disease, anxiety, digestive issues, and weakened immune systems. I saw an article from a law firm called the Jimenez Law Firm, and they focus on divorce. They focus on that stat. I didn't look this up, but in years past, I saw a stat that in America, I think it's pretty close to like 1 out of every 2 marriages ends in some kind of divorced or separated agreement. But this article from Jimenez Law estimates that 20 to 40% of all marriages that end in a divorce is caused by financial problems. I also saw a report from Yahoo Life that said in all long-term relationships, money, finances, those were reported as the biggest conflict in about 40+% of all disagreements. And not last but not least, even in the Bible, for example, in the Bible, money, the topic of money, the word money is mentioned 140 to 200 times, depending on what version that you're reading. And even outside of that, words like riches, silver, and gold appear even more in the Bible. So this idea of health and wealth is everywhere in our culture. And it's important that we, as financial fiduciaries, help our clients think through that and coach them in a way so that they're both thriving.
There's a direct tie-in between your overall health and the health of what you have saved.
100%.
Yep. To use it's not a phlemism because it is, a real word, but I have to give credit to Ryan here.
Here you go.
Symbiotic. It's really
It's a great word.
to focus on one thing without the other. They're intertwined, from that standpoint.
Yep.
And this is a special episode because, once again, we get stat time for a second round.
A second round?
Yes.
Double
First
stats for stats.
First time in the history of the Financial Huddle podcast.
Wow.
Double stats.
Mark
Glad
that
you tuned in,
day.
everybody.
Save
Yeah.
the
Hit us up
episode.
at Double
This is
Special
exciting.
Stats.
So, obviously the topic of, this time of the year, the New Year's, and we started off with resolutions. And I just thought it was interesting. I Googled and looked at resolutions and the number of people that actually make resolutions. I kind of said, when you asked me, I haven't really thought about it a lot. Well, recent survey states that approximately 38% of the general population make New Year's resolutions. So 38%.
All right.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
That's
Less than
actually
half.
less than what I would have thought.
Yeah, 38%. And then here's the thing that gets me, and I have personal experience with this from not myself, but from certain situations that I put myself in as far as working out and really being religious about that. Of those 38%, only 25% of that 38%, so we're getting into numbers here, are still committed to that resolution they made 30 days later.
Oh, man.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that
Fall
number,
off.
listen, that number falls off and gets worse and worse. 60, if we go 60 days out, 2 months out, only 21.9% of that 25% is still basically doing their New Year's resolution. That goes down to 13.1% of that 21.9
3 months.
is still doing it. Well, 4 months.
Okay.
They kind of skip out. And then here's the thing that's incredible to me. Only approximately 1% said that they kept the resolution for the full year.
They fell into the abyss.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I was speaking to before is, I think we all do. We're all avid, we like to work out and keep ourselves relatively fit. I'm a little older than you guys, so maybe it's a little harder for me.
We're all fighting.
We're fighting.
We're fighting father time.
Yep.
But, I belong to Lifetime and, just go along all year. It's not overly crowded. I can get in there, get my workout done and everything else. Well, you hit January 1, man. All of a sudden, there's 2 to 3 times more people. I can't get onto a bench. I can't get onto a machine. Everybody and their mother's there. And I'm just like, I've never seen any of these people before.
Yep.
Well, 30 days out, I stopped seeing most of those people. I still see a few. Well, 60 days out, I see even less of them.
right.
And then everything, maybe a few new members, keep it going. But outside of that, most of those, which kind of agrees with these stats, just kind of go through that and then they're done.
You're living it.
Just go in week 1, take a bullhorn, and just say you're not going to be here.
You're not gonna be here.
in a month. So get out now.
Get off my piece of
I
equipment.
need to get on the treadmill. Get to stepping.
And so when we're talking about these different things, which Ryan brought up, New Year's resolutions historically tend to focus more on health. And doing what we do as financial planners, the health of your finances is just as important. Which we said, okay, it's this symbiotic, intertwined relationship, and too often stress is created because we don't focus on that financial side, or we get into a period where we are focused on what others have. So
like a comparison game.
Comparison game where I think I need to keep up with so and so, or that type of thing. The reality of this is, you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. When we sit down and meet with people, whatever you have is what you have. All right. I'm not going to say, people always say, I don't have a whole lot. Well, you got what you got. So let's basically plan around that. And when you don't compare yourself to someone else, but you look at what you have, you can be happy and satisfied with that. Don't think that you have to have, 2 to 3 times as much because your neighbor has that much, and you can still be financially healthy. And when you're financially healthy, you have, what did you just say? Less stress, less sickness. A lot of times sickness is a leading or stress is a leading cause that leads into, sickness, relationships, making sure you have a solid long-term relationship. Not having that concern is very important from that standpoint.
Yeah, it's like your health and your wealth. If you added them together, that's where we get the terminology wellness.
Yep.
Your overall wellness is the combination of your health and how you manage your wealth. And a lot of people aren't doing great on their wellness. And that's part of our job.
Yeah.
Yep.
That really is.
And I think to the other side of that is when people feel like they're behind or they haven't done a good job saving, then it gets into an attitude of, well, I didn't start, I'm just not going to, and it's too late anyways.
Right.
And then the dominoes of your health and your wellness, that's a great word, start to decline.
Yeah. So if we look at, we're talking about New Year's resolutions and stuff, let's focus on the financial side of things. Brian, what kind of tips would we potentially recommend for our clients?
Yeah, I would say number one, and this doesn't necessarily have to do with wealth, but it does have to do with wellness, is sleep. And we've talked about this as a group of, if you get your sleep right and you get adequate rest, I'm a big believer that everything starts there. If you're rested, if you take the time to get the number of hours you're supposed to get, then you're going to be refreshed, you're going to be alert, and then you can start getting those other parts of your wellness in order. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I remember a few weeks back when the World Series was happening, the greatest player to ever walk the planet Earth, Shohei Ohtani. Remember they had that 18-inning game. It was a marathon. Oh, yeah. And they interviewed him afterwards, and they asked him a question, and he goes, the number one thing I want to do right now is hurry up and get to my bed and sleep. He is like a sleep snob. But I think medically, if you do some research into that, it is the number one most important thing we need to do for our health is to get adequate sleep. And a lot of people don't.
And I think when you think of things like resolutions, you think of goals that are measurable.
Yep.
Another measurable goal, if you haven't done this, is just start tracking your expenses for a week or even do it a month. That way you can get an idea of how to set a budget because now you know what you're going to spend. There are a number of easy ways to do it. There's 1,000 different apps that you can download on your phone. Some of those will automate directly to your bank account or your credit card. Some of them, I have one that you have to manually do it. And I'm that weird OCD person that I like to feel I just spent that money. So
really? OCD?
I know, that's a shocker.
You?
Pumping gas, get out the phone, put it in there. My wife's with me. She makes fun of me, but we're on the road a lot. I know what it is that we spend and we can track it. And it's a discipline. And once you start that, then it's a lot easier to continue that habit once you have done it for a number of days.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll add to that. I think human beings are creatures of procrastination just by nature. But I also know that what we care about the most, what human beings really kind of truly care about inside their heart, we are masters at trying to figure out how to get that. Right. So if you really want to improve your health and your wealth and have better wellness, kind of like what Ed said as far as working out, I would actually throw out there, build a financial fitness plan and try not to be the people that fall off, incrementally
in 30 days or
Right.
60 days.
And that only 1% still standing is like, seriously, in the same way you'd go in and figure out what rep scheme you're going to do in the weight room, 3 sets of 10 or whatever. I would say set a specific kind of money rep goal for yourself. Like I'm going to save $500 a month every single month. I'm not going to skip a rep. I'm going to hit all my reps. I'm going to hit all my sets. And we know if we do that in the weight room over a period of time, we're going to see results. We're going to feel better. We're going to look better. Things about how about break it down incrementally. The first half of the year, I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to be out of debt by June. And I'm going to hit my goal by June. So then, the second half of the year, I can start saving that money into like a Roth IRA or something like that. So hit that goal, put it out in front of you, work towards that goal. Or maybe it's a goal to where you should do it, but you should bump your 401k contribution up. Hit those reps every single paycheck, whether you get paid once a month, twice a month, whatever it is. you're going to bump that up from 10 to 15%, and every single paycheck, every single rep that you get, you're going to increase that side of the house. Just like in the same way you do those rep schemes in a weight room, set those in your financial plan.
And when you automate it, man, that's just an easy way that you don't have to even do it.
It makes it way easier
automate
nowadays.
it, it's easier. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of, once again, going on the same topic of wellness, meaning both financial and health, a lot of people have an annual medical exam, right?
Yep.
Once a year you go in, maybe get some blood tests, or at least me, I'm 58. Maybe you guys, just turned into 50 and, everything else. Maybe it's not so much. But,
Hey,
you
I'm
just
not
go
there
in.
yet, man.
Right. You just go in and make sure everything's still working and everything else. But, from a financial standpoint, same thing. Schedule a financial wellness review. And, from that standpoint, I had a client, or I do have a client, that literally would write down his entire financial picture and his goals and objective, and he would put it in a sealed envelope, and then at the end of the year, and he would basically give me that envelope, and at the end of the year when we scheduled our meeting, I'd open up the envelope, he'd be there, and we'd basically look to say, all right, did you accomplish what you had written down? I mean, that's really cool. Taking it. That's taking it.
That's really cool, man.
We don't have too many clients like that, but he basically it's kind of like his financial mission statement for the year. Here's where I am. I want to be here.
Yeah.
And then he would, by writing it down as opposed to just stating it, it's like, all right, here it is.
It's tangible.
And then giving me, his financial professional, a copy of it. It's accountability. And it's the same thing like working out.
Yep.
I tend to work out better when you have accountability, whether it's to a trainer or just work out with someone else. It's a lot easier. Mm-hmm. That person's going to push you. That person's going to motivate you. And that's the same thing like we do as a financial planner is, we ask for accountability to our clients. So in that case, he presented that to me. So I had to, or he wanted me to hold him accountable.
Great. That's great.
For those things.
I love that.
So, scheduling that review, because I like to say, I use the term life happens all the time. And what that means is, we could have met last year. Your circumstances were this. Well, all kinds of things could have changed the following year. Just like you go to your doctor for your annual review. Well, you need an annual financial review.
So true.
And so from, this time of year, a lot of times those financial reviews are really held in the first quarter because you want to see how things are going through the full year and that kind of stuff. But that's just another, thing that we could look at as, words of wisdom or advice, to those, to our huddlers, and the people listening out there.
Take those steps.
Yep.
Set your budget, track your expenses, automate, try to get a few more dollars saved, Ryan, as you said, and schedule those reviews. And that's why we are here. We want to help you. It's as we look at the beginning of 2026, getting back to those basics, that's going to make all the difference in the world. So with that, I want to wish everybody happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you so
New
much
Year.
for attending. And just a reminder, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See y'all next time.
Take
See you
care,
next
everybody.
year.